to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Didn't they teach you to reach for the stars while opening up the bars and keeping you chained down with mortgage bills and cars? Vaccines for your arms, kids sounding like supercharged, caffeinated hate-filled scars and rage-quit repertoires. No answers for yards, caught up in emotion that's not even yours. Imposter truths like impeccable retards, lined up for your serving of Gish Galloping wars. No remedy can't save the lost, in love with the yarn. I'm tired of walking into refracted shards, poor science displayed by disgusting bards. Soaked in sin with your dupe is delight in a new hand of cards. Been so long, seems like for love I'm just too hard, I'm just too hard, that's it. Welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know. Intoxicated 8 makes you believe you're spinning in space while you have no shame or grace. It's a disdainful state I used to contemplate how to save myself from my own self-hate. Wonder why I was even made with a dreadful fate, forced to try and awake with a full plate. No one to help me stay awake or educate. I've had to liberate and fight through hidden gates. But my brother, heaven could never be late, and rockets don't work in space. It's all fake, the show is on Mars. It's a joke, but you're too far gone, it won't be long. Fepe's beak is strong. We have our song and we march along like streams of knowledge leading to God's holy pond, and lives of truth that hits the bong and sings the song, turns mankind from the wrong. We come in peace with a holy gown and all of us wearing our holy crowns. Said the earth is flat and we probably just won't get along, just to go along. I said, welcome to the show where you don't know if it's part of the show. Welcome to the show. If you don't know, you don't know.
We want to make sure that people can discern the truth from the misinformation. And we want to make sure that everyone understands that no one's safe till everyone's safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe.
No one is safe.
Nobody's safe.
No one is safe.
Nobody is safe.
This is a post 9/11 axiom. Safer, but not yet safe.
No one is safe. No one is safe. No one is safe. No one is safe until everyone is safe.
If the whole world isn't safe, none of us are safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
Nobody is safe.
Until we're all safe.
Health experts have been saying nobody is safe.
Nobody is safe until everybody is safe.
Nobody is safe.
The science is clear.
None of us are safe.
There is no safety.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe.
No one is safe until everyone is safe.
No one's safe.
Nobody is safe. Nobody's safe.
No one's safe.
We'll never be safe
until we're all safe.
We are never going to be safe.
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
They are all idiots and losers.
Idiots who think that they can do their own research.
Don't do any of your own research.
Doing your own research is associated with conspiracy theory circles.
This go-it-alone approach, doing your own research, that can have serious consequences.
We
People stop saying, I need to do my own research.
That phrase, do your own research, is 4 words. 4 little words that are hurting America. Doing your own research hurts America! Everybody has a supercomputer in their hand that empowers them to do their own research, and that's the problem. You must not do your own research.
I need to do my own research.
I don't ever understand what that means. I'm doing my own research.
You can't do your own research unless you're a scientist. Do your own research.
Hi guys, hope you guys doing fine today. Welcome to the show. It's amazing to see all these people talking about discouraging us from doing our own research, calling us stupid when we are just trying to figure out, trying to find what the truth really is. That's all we are doing. We are here to search and seek truth. And we have to go even to places where people don't want us to go. And we got to do our research. We have to continuously, because we are constantly being bombarded by lies. So welcome to the show, everyone. I do have a lot of topics to talk today. I just want to shout out here to all my good friends who are here. Thank you so much, La Victoria, 1960. Thank you for being here. Tammy George, how are you, Tammy? Oliver, Yuka's in the house. How are you, Yuka? Hope you're doing fine. Blue Crystal is in the house. Victoria is in the house. So thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. So we do have an interesting show. Hello, everyone. I went to an Orthodox Christian church for the first time today. I hope you really had a good time there. Arizona is in the house. Michigan Mike, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. I will be shouting out a little bit more as we move on. So as we were talking, they called us stupid for trying to research, for just trying to find out whatever they were forcing us. Not me, I didn't put anything in my body, but they're forcing people, preventing them. Some of them lost their jobs, their family, their houses, everything, because they're forcing them to have some substance into their bodies. And whoever tried to research, they call them stupid. Well, I don't know how much time I will have today. I mean, if will be able to cover everything that I do, because there's so much. I wish sometimes I could have more than one live stream a week, or at least have more time. But, I want to wrap up, close the chapter on Pastor Dinodo and in his position against researching. That's what it is, when you don't want people to research, you kind of gatekeep, you kind of put limits on what people can or cannot do or should not do. So that's not the way we should do. The Bereans, I was talking to Ricky this week about how the Bereans checked on the scripture if everything was the way Paul or other people were teaching. So we got to check in scriptures if what they've been teaching us is right or wrong. So let me start here with some of the things that I've been researching. So last week I was talking to you about the history being changed. And in the book 1984, Winston, he works at the Ministry of Truth, where his job is to alter old newspapers and records so that the party's current version of reality has always been true. So Oceania had been at war with Eurasia ever since Winston remembers, but suddenly his job was to go back and change the past, such as if they had always been at war with East Asia and not Eurasia. So I don't know how many of you remember a guy from this channel who read Pure Philosophy. He was on YouTube and his channel got deleted. He had over 200,000 subscribers. He was not a flat earther. But one thing made him change. He flipped it to the flat earth side. Sometime in 2018, and I know that because I researched this 2015, 16, 17. When you went to like Google or Wikipedia to find out about Auguste Picard, you could see an entry on him with his famous quote from 1931 that the Earth seemed like a flat disk with an upturned edge. That was the entry about Professor Auguste Picard on Wikipedia and Google. But something changed. Wikipedia changed that, and that guy from Red Pill Philosophy, he saw it in real life on March. See, this article was last edited on March 21st, 2018. They changed it to the first man to see the curvature of the Earth. So I remember because I was watching his show when he was ranting about how they changed it from this to this. So you see history being changed right in front of your eyes. And many times there's nothing we can do about it. They just changed history. And I told you guys last week this movie that I think Dino should watch it because it tells how in the 1800s so many things started to be changed. Okay, that's why the reason today Flat Earth and the Little Season against the globe and the futurism, because both were highly pushed in the 1800s. Now, I do have a video in one of the compilations. There are many compilations of TikTok videos, more than 500 so far. In one of them, the person reads a book from the 1784, I guess, 1787, where they were dealing with the problem of having to change everything from flat to globe. Now, the book was not a flat earth book, it was just an almanac, but it was reporting the problems they were having at that time from having to switch from flat to globe. They were changing history in real time. And that was in the late 1700s. And from the 1800s, pushing the globe, and this, you cannot have futurism without the globe. That's what I'm saying. It's connected, one of the two, because both arose in the 1800s. Now you see here, this is a globe I've shown you before, catching fire. And here has Daniel 9:27. They base the whole futurism on the globe. You cannot separate one from the other. You can't, right? So, and last week when I was talking, I've been talking about the Pangea, the separation of the continent. It was one big continent. And I get bad comments. People call me names because I'm researching, but I'm doing my own research. I'm not stupid. You know, the guy says, well, you're stupid if you're doing your own research. No, it's the opposite. You should do your own research. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my own research. Now, look at this. This is I've been talking to you about this stuff here. I'm Baptist, and I started researching more about the presence of the Baptist church in Brazil, the missionaries and everything. I told you guys several weeks ago, I've been telling you, but I went further, and I got out the receipt. So the first guy here, Robert Porter Thomas, arrived in Brazil in 1871, Baptist minister. He helped establish the first Baptist church in Santa Barbara and in Brazil. He also founded the George Washington Lodge, right there. He opened the church and founded a lodge at the same time, confirmed. You have this other here, all missionaries to Brazil arrived in Brazil, 1870s, Baptist missionary, organized the Second Baptist Church, presided over the ordination of Antonio Teixeira de Albuquerque, the first Brazilian Baptist pastor, in a Masonic lodge, in the same lodge that this guy here founded. Confirmed, identifies a Freemason. This other guy here is a Jewish-born Baptist missionary, worked with the Richmond Foreign Mission Board, extensive Masonic activity in Brazil, known lodges. He even founded a lodge with his own name when he was alive. So you see here, these people, you learn like, oh, you're sending missionaries to Brazil. Those people are selected. Now today, I see the board of Richmond. They selected the Freemasons to go as missionaries. You see here all of them. These are only the Baptists. Okay, all of them arrive in Brazil as missionaries, non-Freemasons. Those are only the Baptists. And now you have the other denominations. You have the Methodists, you have the Presbyterians, you have more Baptists here, and you have the Pentecostals too arriving. All non-Freemasons in the 1800s, bringing this dispensationalism teaching along with them, all of them, because there's a big connection. And I know some of you hate to hear that, but there's a big connection between dispensationalism, futurism, and Freemasonry. And that's what I'm trying to show you guys. I've been trying to do this for several weeks. I lost Patreons. I was been calling names. That all I'm doing is like to show that there is a connection. So this guy here, Joseph Size, he wrote a book called A Miracle in Stone. He was not a Baptist, not religious, just he wrote this book. Now his book, he relies heavily on other Freemasons, Sir Isaac Newton, Dr. Alexander Mackay, J. Ralston Skinner, Sir John Herschel. I'm not even going to read below here because I don't want to run out of time. You can go back later, maybe freeze here and read. But he relies his book heavily on the teachings of those four guys. So why is this important? Well, because Joseph Hassai's book is the one used by Clarence Larkin and also Charles T. Russell. If you know Charles T. Russell, he is the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses. But Clarence Larkin is the one associated with the dispensationalism. All right? So these two guys here, Charles Russell and Clarence Larkin, got all this plan of the ages, because the plan of the ages, they say that the prophecies, the prophetic timeline, is written on the pyramid, Giza pyramid. So that's how you get like 2,000 years gap and everything, because everything is based on this pyramid. What you cannot understand in the Bible, it's on the pyramid. So this Larkin here, he's the one that really came up with all those, and I'm going to share here with you guys. You can read his book online. I saved here. I'm going to place a link to you, and you can, right here. I'm going to place this. This whole book is online, okay? Chapter 1, Chapter 2, all of them. It's a dispensationalism. But chapter 32 is where dispensational teaching of the Great Pyramid. He draws the line, he has everything. Or you can buy the book if you want, the physical book. I guess they still have it out there. Find on Amazon, eBay, whatever. But I'm going to place the link. If you don't want to buy the book, just place it. Clarence Larkin book. And here's the link for you if you want to read. I told you I'm doing my own research, even though I'm told you not to do so, but I'm doing my own research. So this Clarence Larkin guy, And here you see this, the Freemasons Chronicle from 1884, quoting, kind of praising Joseph Size, the guy who wrote the first book on the pyramidology. And Clarice Larkin heavily uh, uses pyramidology for this dispensational truth. And from this book, all other guys, all other, up to today, all those big dispensationalist guy realize a lot on his dispensational truth and stuff like that. So that's what I've been saying. That from this, they spread all those missionaries to South America, Latin America, Brazil. A lot of them, I'm not going to say 100% of them, but all of them who really have decision power, they were the Freemasons. And that's what you get with dispensationalism. I know it's hard to hear because I've been with this for a long time, believed all that stuff. And, look, this is from, I'm still working on the Adventist Church, but this is recent, 2019, what the Adventists did in Brazil. The flat earth stuff was growing exponentially, and it still is. But there were several members of the Adventist Church who were preaching flat earth, heavily preaching biblical cosmology. And what they did, the Adventist Church in Brazil, they canceled. Okay, they issued some like guidelines to evade, right here, avoid, reprimand, and cancel people who were investigating the biblical cosmology and flat earth. And it involved the South American Division, the Adventist University of São Paulo, their publishing company, their Creationist Society, the Biblical Research Institute, their magazine. So they start to cancel all those people who were bringing flat earth to the table to discuss. So that's how they eliminate the people who try to bring. That's why you're never going to see the Richmond Baptist board coming out and citing or promoting flat earth. Every time I come across now with those famous Baptist pastors and from other denominations, they're always either mocking flat earth or rejecting or promoting the globe, because their theology is the globe theology and dispensationalism. They go hand in hand. They gotta go. One depends on the other, because the people who promote one, the globe, also promote number two, dispensationalism. So it's pretty silly that we should not investigate that stuff. And I understand some people, remember that clip from Truman Show, this one right here.
Christoph, let me ask you, why do you think that Truman has never come close to discovering the true nature of his world until now?
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
We accepted this reality because that was presented to us. As I have told you guys, when I started my Baptist journey, I took classes before I got baptized, and I was taught dispensationalism all the way. I accepted because that's what I was taught. That was the reality, and that's how it is. So it's hard to break away from this stuff. Very hard. You struggle, and then I said that I believe Dinodo is a man of God, like in the sense that he's a good father, husband. I believe he's sincere. It doesn't mean he's not wrong. Okay, I think he he defending dispensationalism without researching it more, putting it to test, is kind of risky. Okay, so I'm gonna play this short video here of him from a couple weeks ago, just half a minute.
Because there are people now who teach this little season nonsense that say Jesus already came and that the millennium already happened, the millennium reign already happened, and Jesus went into hiding. Okay? These people are deceiving people into the very thing of not looking for the things we're supposed to pay attention to look for leading up to the second coming of Jesus Christ, to be prepared spiritually, mentally, emotionally. This is why it's dangerous. And this is why I'm going to hit it again. Now I want to go first to Matthew 24. And I'm going to read some stuff, and I'm going to counter some of their stupid arguments. And yes, I said stupid. This has got to be.
All right, he said it's stupid, just like those guys said, Bill Gates. Oh, it's stupid, don't do your own research. So I'm doing, and this whole thing that he's been pushing and preaching, it's based on this pyramidology. Because the Bible does not contain a 200 years, 2,000 years gap, So he must research this dispensationalist stuff. It's all a house of cards. So we're going to move on to that. So much to talk about today. Last week, since I've been talking about the Pangea and the separation of the continents, and I got some comments during the live stream. I saw some of the comments, and also after the live stream, I saw some of the people commenting there. Shout out to all of you who are joining us now. I will be with you shortly. So I saw some comments. People were saying, "Oh, the land was divided in Genesis 10:25." What's his name again? What's his name? Peleg, in the days of Peleg. Okay, so I've been listening this for like 2 or 3 weeks. People say, no, the land was divided in the days of Peleg. So I had to research because, as I said, I went to Baptist school and baptism school. I never heard of that stuff, So what did I hear? I'm going to share with you. This is what I learned, and I found some slides. Oops, make sure that I am sharing my screen. So this, you can see even the format of the slides. This is like early 90s, but I learned this in the 80s, home Bible study. But you see the format, that's what I learned, okay? So the globe, that's God creating the globe. Right here, you see the globe is already ready, all the oceans, the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific, North America, South America, the hand of God, okay? The globe is already divided. And then you see here the three knowledge, I guess, the globe, again, the oceans, Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Now the division, the beginning of nations and the languages. The division in Genesis 10 and 11 was always being linguistic, not geological. That's what I learned. It was always being linguistical. So that's why I had to research more. When did it change? Just like in the 1984, when they changed it from one thing to another, as they changed the globe from Daniel 9:27 being fulfilled in Christ to now a possible future Antichrist. They change it, they keep changing stuff. I started to research, well, when did it change? When did it go from a linguistic division to a geological division? So I started researching that stuff this week. And there is more here. This is from 1968. You see there the age, stage of the earth. You see, this is biblical, okay? This is not a science book. This is from the biblical curriculum. See, the continents already divided, and you see here tribulation period, 1,000 year. It goes with dispensationalism, right? And here you see the globe at the end of times already divided. So I started researching when did it change, you know? So that's when I came across a very interesting paper, which I will share with you the link. So I do ask you to download. It's only 29 pages. Very interesting paper. When I share with a couple people, Rick is one of them, and when he got it, he told me, "Wow, this is so interesting." I'll find the link here in a minute. I'm gonna place the link for you guys. Is this paper right here? Okay. It's called "Rightly Dividing the Word About Peleg. Was Earth's unusual division in Peleg's lifetime a linguistic event or a geological event?" Now, this paper does not take sides, okay? It doesn't say this is right or this is right. No, it just presents the arguments. It's up to you to decide which one you believe. Now, to my surprise, there is one more position here, not only the linguistic or geological. There's one more presented towards the end of this paper. So this paper was written John D. Morris, MS, PhD, President, Institute for Creation Research, and James J. Scofield Johnson, TH, Doctor in Theology, ICR, School of Biblical Apologetics. So these are the three words in Hebrew that's translated as divided. So I'm gonna find the link placed in the chat. You download, read it, and we can go back and talk about this stuff. But I'm gonna state my position why I think that this really means that this division does not mean a geological division of the continents, but a linguistic one. And I will state my position here. This paper, when talks about the linguistic, it mentions the Septuagint. The word divided in the Septuagint was translated as they scattered abroad. So that's what I understand as well. That's what we have in the Portuguese Bible, you know. But some people say, no, the Hebrew Bible is what matters. So you have the paper, you read and get to your own conclusions. But I'm going to present why I think it was a linguistic division and not a cosmological division. So when my grandfather passed away, he had a big chunk of land. He divided the land. I mean, the land was divided after he passed away into 5 parts for 5 children. So this is my example that I requested ChatGPT to create a slide. When a father or grandfather dies, his land is divided among his children. Son number 1, son number 2, son number 3, son number 4. Son number 5, the land was divided among the 5 brothers. The land itself did not split apart. The division was of ownership, inheritance, and territory, not a physical tearing of the land. So when Noah and his descendant, the earth was divided, like Europe, one side, you people go over there, the Europeans, and then the Shemites went the other to Africa, the other to Asia. So the 3 sons of the Noah was divided into those 3 places on earth. So there was a linguistic and perhaps racial division, not necessarily the continents split apart. So why not? Well, that's my point right here. They already had cities, right? 100 years. This is 100 years after the flood when Peleg was born. And that's when they divided the language, you know, between 101 after the flood. By this time here, when Abraham was called, in the space of 200 years, I guess, the land was divided. But not the continents, it was the people. They went to different parts of the world. So why I stick with this position? I'm not convinced that it was a geological division, but a linguistical. We already had those cities, all right? Babel, Erech, or Uruk, Akkad, Calneh, Nineveh, Rehoboth, Kalat, Resen. So imagine if we had a geological division. What would happen if a superland mass rapidly separated into 7 continents? Well, there would be mega rupture. Thousands of kilometers of the Earth would fracture and move with enormous force. Ocean basin formation. New ocean basins would open as the crust pulls apart, creating vast underwater valleys. Massive water displacement. Catastrophic tsunamis. All those cities that had been built would have been destroyed. Extreme volcanism. Landslides, coastal collapse, destruction of settlements, peoples forced to migrate again if they survived, atmospheric effects, climate disruption, so many things. The Chilean earthquake of 1960, which was a 9.5, had so much impact over the world. A lot of things happened. Imagine all the continents splitting apart and not a single word in the Bible about all these catastrophic events that follow immediately. This would be bigger, even bigger, in my opinion, than the flood itself. You know, all this would be way bigger. So if the geological interpretation requires a rapid continental separation during Peleg's lifetime, what physical mechanism could produce it, and what would be the expected geological and hydrological consequences? So we would have continental land mass, enormous new oceans, enormous displacement of water, catastrophic tsunamis, existing settlements devastated. All the cities they had built would be totally devastated. And whoever survived would have to migrate again to where? You know, there would be chaos everywhere. So that's why I stand with the linguistic division and not a geological division. But I'm going to paste the paper, you read, you get to your own conclusion. Do your own research. That's what I'm saying. I'm encouraging you to do, not telling like, some other people say, oh, you're stupid if you research that stuff. No, do your own research. I understand that I studied this like 30 years ago. We have 3 kinds of earthquakes. We have the strike slip fault right here, goes side to side. The reverse fault where it goes one on top of the other. And the normal fault we here. And that's what would have to have occurred during the years of Peleg, and huge, like the whole Atlantic Ocean being created. So no settlement, no city would survive such a devastation. It would be incredibly, incredibly devastating. So that's why I'm sticking with the separation of the language. It used to be one language, language confused, people could not longer communicate, people scattered, nations divided, peoples separated. You still have the whole earth like it was before with the oceans around. Now, what happened is we have evidences that these things happen after 70 AD. Okay? This is what I've been telling. If the Greeks wrote about this in the time of Greeks, of course, the land was not divided even after Peleg was born and died. He died, I think he was 283 years old, or 183, something like that. So if he died, and logically, the text is not about the geological division, but it was the division of the languages. If the Greeks were still writing about that in 200 before Christ. But what happened in 70 AD, and I have a question mark here, because we don't know if these dates are correct. But we have the Chinese observation of the skies, when for several remarkable celestial objects recorded in ancient China, reportedly seen for an extended period of time. It's just stayed in the sky. We have the explosion of the Vesuvius and volcanoes all over. How this could have happened due to the separation of the continents. We have all those earthquakes and tsunamis, which are these dates exactly dates? History may have been altered. That's what some historians are saying, that all this stuff happened at the same time. So we do have records of those things happening after 70 AD. We have the darkest year in history, supposedly in 536 AD, but that's when the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, Revelation 6:12. So there are more evidence that this whole thing happened in after 70 AD than in the times of Peleg. And also we had the Justinian plague, which killed 1/3 of the population, just like it says in the book of Revelation. Estimated mortality between 30 to 50% of the world's population perished during this so-called Justinian plague, so dated 541 AD, which in my opinion, it all happened right after 70 AD. So those are the 4 key figures behind the phantom time theory. You can research that yourself. I have the video from Gunnar Hansen. Excellent. You can find him on YouTube. He has and he's not even a Christian or anything, but he claims that 700 years, he believes that approximately 700 years were added to our timeline, shifting entire periods of history. Much of ancient history is misdated and distorted. And of course, Anatoly Fomenko, he claims our entire history is radically wrong. He proposes that 1,000 years of history were added to the timeline. Ancient civilizations are actually medieval and much younger. So I encourage you guys to research, do your own research, and you see that things. I encourage Binodo to do this research. They are hiding 1,000 years. 1,000 years the reign of Christ is being hidden. Impossible to find when you have Freemasons running the Richmond Baptist board, all the main churches, all the Adventist church and this church and that church, all the body, Assembly of God in Brazil, it's totally taken by Freemasons. So it's very difficult to find the truth when the people, the leaders of all these institutions, which were supposed to be teaching us the truth, are the one gatekeeping. They are gatekeeping everything. So we don't really have any possibility of finding the truth, because all those leaders, they are the gatekeepers. Just trying to find that document on the PDF. I do have it here, guys. Just a second. I think it was last year, I guess. Let's see, last weekend. I don't know where it is, but right here. I think I found it. Yeah, I found it. So, guys, I will share this in the chat. This is the linguistic or geological Peleg's years. So you read, and then you figure out by yourself. If you think this division was geological, or if the division was linguistic, or if they present a third option there. Okay, I'm not going to tell you. You can just read them. All right, so I'm going to play the first song, catch up a little bit with the chat, and then we'll come back, because I do want to talk about and wrap up this whole they know the thing, once and for all, right? So let me play a song here. Glober's favorite, North Pole. Let's play this song.
Take your trip down south, a bit of fun to do. I hope you find what you're looking for. I pray you don't turn blue. I am lured up to the north, a feeling stuck like glue. I sense the answers that I seek on a mountain called Nauru. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip. Making the dreadful trip with hugs all around from the flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script. I feel I could trek with compass in my hand, keep my sights on the needle north, wind up in a far-off land, become a bold explorer, traversing sea and land, perhaps a little pirate-like, with a cutlass in each hand. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around from the flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script. I know this sounds like a pipe dream. Maybe I've lost my grip. Maybe this is a call to someone with a ship. Perhaps it's just a shout out to all the dreamers. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around for my fellow flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, for making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around and fellow flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script.
All right, guys, we're back here. Couple shout outs here. Daisy, are you Daisy? Hey, Christian, everyone. It's quite nice, interesting topic, Eddie. Yeah, last week was kind of crazy. I wasn't really paying much attention on the chat because I don't have much time. See, it's been 48 minutes already, so that means that I only have another what? I finished in 90 minutes. I got like 40 more minutes to go, and there was a lot of discussion in the chat, and shout out to all of you. I like you, all of you guys. Matthew Hakim was here, Freemason Trash was there, and they were having an argument with each other. And I sided with Freemason Trash on the subject of about Mike Smith from Saskatoon, I guess, Canada. He's a nice guy. All of you guys are very nice. What I mean, is like, are they Freemasons? I don't know. I don't think Matthew Hakim is a Freemason. He already told me several times that he's not. So I was never against him, in person. What I said, when I will say it again, I am against engaging with Globers because they are hired. Mactoon, Science Mandan, or Friday Flatter, those guys, no matter what, they are hired to defend the globe. So it's a waste of time to engage with these people. You only give them material so they can use against Flat Earth and against us. So don't engage with them. That's what I said. Don't engage. I whether they are Freemasons or not, I don't know. But my word to every Flat Earth: don't engage with these people. They use their own people. They use people who pretend to be Flat Earthers. On their show. But don't engage with them. Don't give them the time of the day. That's all I'm saying, and I side with Freemason trash on that. Okay. Shout out to Dawn. No, I know you. I saw here you are not feeling well, but thanks for being here. I do pay attention when you are around. I like to hear what you have to say. So let's move on now to the unpleasant part because I don't want to talk about this. But I want to close the chapter on this whole Dinodo stuff. He's a pastor. He's gonna be even way more responsible than most of us because he is the leader. So he has to research more what he teaches. Way than I'm just a I'm not even a member of the church right now, but I'm researching more. Then he should research more of this. Dispensationalism stuff. Before he placed all his. Uh, thank you, thanks, brother. Thank you. Long time, 10 years. Thank you. If he's teaching dispensationalism, he has placed all his hope, everything on this, like putting all your eggs in one basket. But the more you research, as I've been researching dispensationalism, the more connections with Freemasonry I find. Too many connections with Freemasonry. And all the pastors, all those leaders, they all reject the flat earth. They don't want to talk about flat earth or the cosmology, biblical cosmology, because that's exposed more of their lies. So they don't want. So let's go ahead and get started here with this denodo stuff. Close these windows. You don't need that. You don't need this. And I don't need this. All right. So here's denodo trying to find the verses like thou shalt build a third temple. And then the 2,000 years gap was created. He who testifies to these things says, surely I am coming after the third temple is built and after 2,000 years. Of course, this is not what the Bible says. Jesus said he was coming in that generation. Again, how they change history here that I'm saying, highlighting to you, and how they came from having the 70 weeks of Daniel fulfilled in Christ up to the very last 1700 years. This guy, he wrote an excellent, it's like a 10-volume Bible commentary, and he's respected. Many pastors have his books. Daniel's 70 weeks were accomplished in the time of Christ and the apostles. All of them had the same opinion. But in the 1800s, just like in the book 1984, history was changing. This is the Coptic Church of Egypt, which still maintains that the 70 weeks of Daniel were fulfilled in Christ. There's no 2,000 years gap. They are persecuted up to today. And I can't believe, like, they say those people are not Christians. They don't know what they're talking about. That dispensationalism is the correct thing, I don't understand. Here you see how they bomb their church, they kill their families, they kill members. family in New Cairo was found dead in their car. The suspects now arrested, all because they were Copt Christians. They believe the same thing that I'm saying, that 70 weeks of Daniel was fulfilled in Christ. So it's hard for me to hear, those saying these people don't know what they're talking about. All these guys here predicted the coming of Christ. Chuck Smith, Pat Robertson, Hal Lindsey, Edgar Weisnet, Peter Ruckman, all relies on that Clarence Larkin plan of the ages based on the pyramids. Edgar Weisenat, Harold Camping, George Cole, Lucius Sumrall, Jerry Falwell, Lee Jung-rin from Korea. And I want to talk about this Jerry Falwell here. And some of you might remember the Y2K bug. He was selling tapes. Y2K, fierce prompt evangelical leader to sell $28 video. So the world was going to end after only 2 years. The best way to warn them was to sell this $28. That was a lot of money, $28 back in 1998, 1999. That was a lot of money. So let me play this video right here for you to see that this is the right thing. They were really saying that.
I believe that Y2K may be God's instrument to shake this nation, humble this nation, awaken this nation, and from this nation start revival that spreads the face of the earth before the rapture of the church.
Predictions upon predictions upon predictions, and keep changing the dates, and nothing happens. Nothing happens, and everything is based on this 2,000 years gap. Share my screen again. Everything based on this 2,000 years gap. Right, $28 a tape. He sold, I don't know how many, several of them. So everything is based on this globe. Without the globe, they don't have prophecy. They cannot go, and adopt the flat Earth truth, because if people find out the Earth is flat, they're gonna find out all other lies. They gotta keep the people conditioned with the globe. So they should know that, and he relies heavily on teachings from these people, from this very same globe, pushes those seminars. Which seminar teaches the flat Earth? Tell me one seminar, biblical seminar, Bible college, that teaches the flat Earth. None of them. None of them. So futurism is a house of cards. You remove Daniel 27, the foundation, everything falls apart. Everything falls apart. You remove this 2,000 years gap, everything falls apart. So this is a disc. This is a vinyl that I heard in Brazil. That's why this subject of futurism, dispensationalism, really gets on my nerves, because I was so deep into this stuff. So there is a Brazilian guy in the chat. He probably knows about this vinyl here, because it was played in almost every church. And I was a teenager. I heard this. So what is this last trumpet? That means the last trumpet, right? So this supposedly missionary, Olav Raj, he had a vision while praying. I had a vision of the future that the Lord showed me. That's the vision described rapture of the church, the tribulation, Antichrist, catastrophe on the globe, Christ's return. Rapture first, number one, rapture. I gotta emphasize, because now they are changing. Even that now is preaching that there will be no rapture before the tribulation. So that means that the dream of this guy, this prophecy, was a fake prophecy. So what happened is, this last trumpet, when futurism became a radio drama, they created a radio drama. So 1952, Bergen, Norway, claims a prophetic vision. Eric Albert Peterson translates the vision into Portuguese. They produce a radio drama, a vinyl. Brazilian Pentecostal Church circulated this vinyl across the nation. A fictionalized vision reinforced the pre-tribulation framework. So they used to play this record in churches, and I was one who learned, I heard that stuff. So I believe that's, wholeheartedly, and if you listen to that stuff, it's like a drama. It's like watching the Left Behind movies. So that means that this guy had no vision, because even today's pastors are telling that the rapture is going to come after the tribulation. So this whole thing was a lie. He never, God did not give a false prophecy to him. So it was a lie. It was out of his own, I don't know if he was a Freemason or not. I'm starting to think that many of those people who are predicting, it's just like those fake flat earthers who make flat earth look ridiculous. I think those guys are doing the same thing. They are predicting so they can make Christianity look ridiculous, because those prophecies never come to pass. So the futurism is a fear-based deception. It's a Zionist worldview. You depend on politics and politicians to fulfill prophecy. They rely totally on politicians to fulfill prophecy. It's a Zionist worldview. Futurism is driven by a modern political agenda, not by the whole counsel of God, and critical support for the modern nation of Israel. A political reading instead of a biblical one. God's promises to Israel ripped from their context, because everything was already done before Christ. Replacing the church with a future tribulation survival scenario. The goal to keep people tied to the system. So that's my opinion on futurism. It's a house of cards. Even pastors like Rich Tidwell, he knows that the modern Jews aren't even the people of the Bible. So what kind of temple are they going to build? And Daniel 9:27 is the backbone of futurism. You remove that, the whole body, the whole thing falls apart. Can't stand. So I still want to know if Dinodo even knows those 2,000 years added is based on pyramidology. Totally based on this pyramidology stuff. Now, as I said, on the other hand, we have more evidences that everything already came to pass. You see all those Bible verses and the churches, the 7 churches of Revelation. Ephesus, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea, or Laodicea. I don't know how you say. Repent and do the first works, and else I will come unto thee quickly, and will remove thy candlestick out of this place. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly, not 2,000 years later, quickly, and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. But that which you have already hold fast till I come. Sardis, I will come on thee as a thief. To Philadelphia, behold, I come quickly. Laodicea, behold, I stand at the door and knock. So if you see here, all those places, guys, are biblical cities that no longer exist. You see here, Chorazin. Let me hide this stuff. This Chorazin, no more. You see that it seems like it was burned. Just like Peter says, the elements were going to melt and be burned away. You see, Chorazin, Bethsaida, don't exist anymore. Everything is gone. So if Jesus was talking about 2,000 years ago, who is he going to punish there? There's nobody living there anymore. The city has been destroyed, everything. Okay, that's Chorazin right there. Of course, he was talking the judgment during that generation. 40 years later, that generation, 70 AD, everything got destroyed. So we have more evidences that geological separation, how the cataclysm happened right there during the first century. You see Bethsaida, same thing, nothing exists anymore. Ruins of ancient Bethsaida, home of Simon, Andrew, and Philip. So what's the benefit of judgment coming to those cities today or 2,000 years later? They don't even exist anymore. So this whole dispensationalism makes a mockery of the words of Christ. What is he going to destroy now? It's been destroyed already. You see the elements, seems like it was pulverized. Worse than when they carpet bombing some cities. You know, it looks worse. You know, you just imagine the wrath of God happening after the destruction of the temple, after this whole thing happened in the first century. Nothing is left at Chorazin or Bethsaida. It's absolutely crazy to believe that those words of Jesus were for the time of today. That's where you see all those Bible passages. Let's take a look at those churches, the ones, none of them are existing today. All of them are gone, totally all of them. First one, the Ephesus, gone. Nothing exists at that church anymore. Only people can go there and watch and see the ruins, only ruins. Nothing there. He said he was going to come quickly and everything was destroyed. That's how it used to look like before. It seems like everything was destroyed, heavily, like carpet bombed or something, because nothing is left. So nothing is left. That's the big, beautiful Diane, temple of Diane. Is that Diana? In Portuguese, Diana. Nothing is left. Everything got destroyed. So to me, in my opinion, what Jesus said was going to happen, happened in that generation. The separation of the continents, the geological separation of the continents, and the destruction of all that generation, all those. Everything is destroyed. That's Ephesus right there. Nothing left, no people, no one, everything destroyed. And we're going to see some more. I'm going to cover almost, I think, 6 out of the 7 churches. I got the ruins here to show. So nothing left of the beautiful city and the temple of Diana. Nothing left, everything destroyed. Nothing there. So what's the point of the judgment coming now? You know, if everything, what's going to happen there? You know, Ephesus, we saw Ephesus. Let's look at Pergamos now. Is that Pergamos? Yes. Nothing left. Again, so 2,000 years later, coming, so how it used to be, and now nothing left. So of course the judgment already came upon those places. See the beautiful city of Pergamos, whatever. It's gone. Nothing left. Totally destroyed. So makes no sense. See the beautiful city, how it used to be. Nothing left. So of course those things was destroyed in the first century. Just like the prophet, just like Jesus said, I'll come quickly, you know. And just like Peter described, the elements were going to melt and be destroyed by fire. So imagine the destruction. Everything happened in the first century AD. All those places were destroyed back then. So that's the city of Pergamos. Nothing left. Nothing left. Let's go to the third one, Thyatira. But to that which we have already told until I come. The ruins are there. They built around, but the city itself is gone. Everything is gone. Modern Turkey built things around it. But what's the point of that prophecy? It makes the whole book of Revelation pointless. You know, if you say like, oh, that's gonna be in the future, well, but those places don't exist anymore. You know, and it makes no sense. Then you gotta give them, oh, it's a chronological interpretation. Oh, it means the church age, the church era. No, Sardis. Let's look at Sardis. I will come on thee as a thief. So that's how it used to be. And what's left? Nothing's left of this beautiful big city, the times, of the New Testament, first century. Everything's gone. Nothing. Everything got destroyed. So those are people go there to see those places. I believe cost a lot of money. Some of you might have been there. See the city? Everything is destroyed. It was destroyed. Nobody. So what's the point of Jesus writing, I'm coming to thee 2,000 years later? There's no point. See, everything does not exist anymore. Of course, when Jesus was speaking, he was speaking about that generation. And we must trust what he said. He said that generation was not going to pass. All the judgment of the world from the beginning, that age was going to end and ended. Philadelphia, let's look at Philadelphia now. Another one of the seven churches. Philadelphia grew around it, but the city itself, the old city is gone. Only ruins, nothing left. So the destruction was so big, it's like, it had to be from the sky, from the heavens, to destroy all those cities. Everything in the first century. Let me see, I think there's one more after that. Then I'll go back to the chat. But nothing is left from those places. Laodicea, behold, I stand at the door and knock. And that's what remained. Nothing remains of Laodicea. Nothing. So again, looks like it was carpet bombed, totally destroyed. Fire and the elements melted, just like it's described. This is how it used to be. Beautiful city, those water places for you to bath. Nothing left. Everything got destroyed and buried. Most of them are buried. You gotta dig them out. From this to that, nothing left. Right? So I'm researching. I'm not gonna be like those guys say, "Oh, don't do your own search." No, I'm researching, and I came to the conclusion that all those things are past. They are in the past. Do I have answers? Do I have answers for everything? No, because I'm still researching. And but dispensationalism definitely is not biblical. It has a lot of connection with the Freemasons, a lot, way more than I expected to find out. All those missionaries in Brazil, it's like they were selecting, oh, you open the church and the lodge. Then the other ones come, you have two missions. Those missionaries, they were sent with two missions, to convert people and to establish a base there and to influence the politicians and create, it's a mess, that stuff. All right, let me play another song and then we'll be back for comments. I'm going to play a little season song. I'm going to play one by my brother Rick.
It's not what you don't know. It starts when you're just a tot, learning life from a screen you got. Cartoon to space and dinosaurs before they send you out the door. To a school full of scripted lines where truth is buried behind the signs. They hide the king, the lord of all, with polished lies in every hall. A cowboy preacher used to say, it's not what you don't know, it's what you know that ain't so, that brings you down along the way. Our minds get stuck in shifting sand, but we were made to make a stand. We need the rock, the cornerstone, to know we're never all alone. It's for lack of knowledge we're destroyed, too proud to bend, too proud to see. It all started with that famous tree. As we grow with muddled minds, they shape the truth for their design. They teach us what they want us to be, blind to the change we cannot see. They laugh and mock in plain daylight, while hiding truth right in our sight. The movies whisper facts and clues, while the news spins tales to you. A cowboy preacher used to say, it's not what you don't know, it's what you know that ain't so, that brings you down along the way. Our minds get stuck in shifting land, but we were made to make a stand. We need the rock, the cornerstone, to know we're never all alone. It's for lack of knowledge we're destroyed, too proud to bend, too proud to see. It all started with that famous tree. Now you're grown, the head of the pace, but the lies still stare you in the face. People struggling just to get by, while profits soar on every slide. Casinos flash, the banks still grin, even churches buy into the spin. Leaders lie and sell us out with smiling teeth and whispered doubt. And if you wonder why this season feels like there's no sense or reason, you're standing in the dragon's den. It's Satan's little time again. A cowboy preacher used to say, it's not what you don't know, it's what you know that ain't so, that brings you down along the way. Our minds get stuck in shifting sand, but we were made to make a stand. We need the rock, the cornerstone, to know we're never all alone. If for lack of knowledge we're destroyed, too proud to bear, too blind to see. It all started with that cursed tree.
Important message there from Rick Hinckley. It's not what you know, and what you don't. It's not what you don't know. It's what you know that ain't so. So a lot of things that we thought we knew, it ain't so. We knew the Earth was a globe, but it's not. So all those dispensationalist stuff, gotta have a second look to it, and see if things it is the way they're telling us it is. A lot of good comments here. Let me highlight a couple of them. I really like this comment here. Patriotism is good to a degree, but patriotism can become an idol if it replaces God and sound reasoning. And that's where his politics, and I saw that a couple of years ago. There is Christianity and there is his nationalism. Let's call it nationalism. America first, close the borders, a Republican president. So that stuff has nothing to do with Christianity. Absolutely nothing. And some point in life he has to open his eyes and see that stuff, Another good comment here. Gotta put on my reading glasses. I used to be a Blue Lodge Mason to realize that they don't worship God the Father. Sent out 2 formal resignation letters to LA, main lodge, and my home lodge. Okay, good for you. May the Lord bless you and your family. You did the right thing. I learned that one of the things that I learned when I was a teenager, first became a Baptist. I had a very good pastor, and he told me, stay away from the lodges. Don't get involved with the lodges. Okay? Freemason Trash, are you? Amazing. A day Masons are held accountable. Yes, they will. They will be held accountable, of course. A couple more comments here. I already went over this, and I guess this one too. Closed off. He is a Vietnam vet and refused to open. Oh, this is about somebody's father, right? Yeah, they think they got a lot of people. They think they fight for their country when they really. I had a friend in the U.S. He was a Vietnam veteran many years ago, like 40 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. He told me, Eddie, he went to Vietnam. He fought in Vietnam. He told me, man, we didn't fight for our country. We fought for Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And, that's what he told me. And I was new to that stuff. I was like, what? Yeah, he told me, yeah, we fought for Coca-Cola and Pepsi, not for the country. So, so I got my mother on board with the little season, though my dad is highly resistant to it. So still researching. Your little season is today, still researching. Let's keep on researching, still see what the truth is. We are now believing that we are living the area after Satan was released. Hi, another one here, Victoria, my sister. Thanks for being here, Victoria, because it's like 4 a.m. in Sweden. The accuses us of not preparing. We're speaking out, sharing the truth more than anyone. Flat Earth and the Little Seasoner, we're always speaking up. We are all the time. And another thing that turned me off about Dinodo, he has the sky, what's the name? Sky something there. Skyfall. He could be an excellent star, but he brings like QAnon people. And then that Ballworth pastor there, Greg, whatever his last name is. Okay, that's like you are awake, but you bring all these people here who are in the system. So that's why I have I don't understand. He's sending like mixed messages. You can't. You cannot rely on those people anymore. You can't. Last one here. There are many flat earthers here in Brazil. The movement has grown significantly in recent years. The truth is coming to light day by day. The deception is being done. Yes, flat Earth opens up, and definitely, it's just, in my opinion, little season right after flat Earth. This is the biggest. Flat Earth is the biggest thing that being hidden from humanity. And in my opinion, after that, the little season, which is even greater. Everyone since the 1500s. And this week I researched for more maps, more stuff from the before 1500s you cannot find. Just like in the hagiography document says, those maps are in the Vatican. And we have no way to go and get them. They have maps even from before the flood. They have in the Vatican. And all the true maps, everything they have in the Vatican, we will not know. And they've been pushing, hiding the Millennium Kingdom. And of course, you know, say, where is this evidence? Well, it's a spiritual kingdom. Jesus reigned spiritually And there was many benefits. There was healing places and modern technology, and everything was destroyed. Got destroyed. All right, guys, let me see here. What else? Okay, let me check some more comments here. Good evening, Eddie. I'm a patriot if the flat earth thinks that's how God created our temporary home. Yeah. So we know our accounts, but what the problem is, they're sending people to war, and it's okay to defend. You defend your nation. It's coming, some people, but nowadays it's so hard to know if the enemy is really the enemy because they all work together. Like when I say the communists, you guys know what I mean. Because the communists were created by a select group of people, and they have their influence both on the right and on the left. So they just bring people together to destroy themselves so they can reign of them. And that's what they're going to end up doing, in the near future. And, but they control both sides. They've been controlling. So, and even some of the wars, some people were saying like the Second World War, when they ended the Second World War, they were celebrating together. Like the week after that, Germans and English people and some other people, they were celebrating on the streets together. It's like nothing had happened, And I don't know if you guys know, I have one of my books that we teach. There's the story of the First World War. There was a truce between Germany and the British and the French, and they were having war, and then the Germans were singing Christmas carols, and the British heard, and they have a truce. They didn't really want to go to war, to fight each other, but the commanders or the people on top, they wanted them to fight. But they didn't want to fight. It's a beautiful story. There's even a commercial. Let's see if I find here real quick. And I might play this next week. Right? So I got a couple more clips to play. Let me play a few more before we wrap up. This one here, very important.
This is the Wisconsin State Capitol, and it was supposedly built between 1906 and 1917 in a city with a population of only around 30,000 people. Think about that, 30,000 people, a small Midwestern city surrounded by farms. Yet somehow they constructed one of the most elaborate government buildings in the United States. The building contains stone from 6 different countries, more than 40 different types of stone, marble from Europe, granite from around the world, materials that had to be quarried, transported, carved, and assembled more than a century ago. And then there's the dome, the only granite dome on any state capitol building in America, a structure so massive it contains roughly 2,500 tons of steel. According to history, all of that was lifted into place in the early 1900s, but the building itself raises even more questions. Walk inside. The marble, the gold, the towering columns, the massive rotunda stretching stories into the air. It doesn't feel like a government office. It feels more like a cathedral, like something built to inspire awe. And then there's the architect, George B. Post, the same man connected to the enormous buildings of the 1893 World's Fair, a name that appears again and again whenever these seemingly impossible structures show up. So the question is, how does a city of only 30,000 people fund, supply, and construct something like this? Because when you look at buildings like the Wisconsin State Capitol, it starts to feel like there may be a chapter of history we're still missing.
Watching a video on that place in Wisconsin. It's a beautiful, huge construction. And how did they transport marble, some of those stones from Africa, from Italy, to like New York, and then on horse or carriage, or I don't know how, to Wisconsin and construct all that stuff. Amazing. Another short video here that I want to show you guys, this one.
Hey everyone. I just wanted to quickly make this video to prove to you that we can no longer trust anything that we see with our eyes. We can't trust images that we see on social media. We can't trust videos. We can't trust our friends. We can't trust the news. We can't trust anything or anyone. So be careful out there.
Can't trust NASA and all their CGI and their moon mission, and probably they're going to go to Mars virtually, and all the NPCs are going to believe that stuff, that they're real, and but that's how we are today. Let me share this real quick, and we are almost done for today. I have a very interesting video out there on the topic of the gyroscope and how the mechanical gyroscope really proves that we live on a flat, non-rotating Earth, right? So a very interesting video. It's called Questioning the Globe Using Gyroscopes. You can share with people who are more technically leaning, or questioning the shape of the Earth. So this is a very good video for you to share with. And if you guys want to help out the channel, you can just visit one of these links here, the store, online store, Patreon, if you want to become a patron, or PayPal is here. So it would be appreciated, but never required. There's a whole bunch of downloads here for free. You can download my book, maps, everything you can imagine. There's a lot of links here for free download. All right, let me check the chat one more time, and we should be wrapping up. We've been going on for an hour, 31 minutes. All right, so thinking that we're big now. So I really appreciate all of you being here today, and I hope all of you have enjoyed the show. And next week I plan to be talking about the land of Jesus, the North Pole, on the flat Earth map. And that's why I've been trying to research maps that people have not displayed before. It's very difficult, 1600s, 1500s, the latest that we can get, or the earliest, very difficult to get. All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's presentation. I tried to make my point, all those Freemasons, missionaries to Brazil, opening churches and founding lodges. So they had a double mission, and that's why I don't see those missionary work as I used to see before. There's a lot of surveying the land and conspiring and creating cells there that could eventually help politically, not spiritually, nothing to do with Christianity at all politically motivated. So I think that's all for today, guys. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much. Looking forward to being here again next week. I plan to be talking about the North Pole, the land of Jesus, and let's explore that part. And something that the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Catholic Church try to hide, and they own history. They manipulate the books, and of course, they change everything. And they only publish the things that they want us to believe. All right, so thanks again, guys. See you next week. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Picard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments. German sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles of temperature, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever show time past intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we keep through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars on the firmament, turn along around us, to forever show time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystic, luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.